Hi everybody, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface, and before we begin today's video, can I just say, I can now post once more in the comments section of YouTube. Remember, I've been locked out because I've refused to hand over my real life details to Google+, but I've capitulated. I've gone, fine, if you want them, you're going to have them, because I need to communicate with my audience. So, I put my real life name on the Google+ account, and if you do come across it, please feel free to give Shiny McShine a wave. Oh, it's taken me 6 attempts to get this right. I just kept absolutely cracking up. Anyway, we're going to carry on with the level 100 talents for Warlords of Draenor, the new WoW X pack. We're doing them alphabetically, so we've got the Monk, the Paladin, the Priest, and the Rogue today. Monks, let's get straight on with yourself. We've got Vital Connections first up. Brewmaster Tanky spec. You get Soul Dance, which is a passive ability. You're not able to shrug off even spells, such that 30% of your normal stagger amount now works against magic damage. So you now have another form of mitigation against damage, which is pretty darn cool. Windwalkers, who are the deeps, you gain Hurricane Strike, and I really like this one. 15-yard range, instant ability, 45-second cooldown. You unleash a quick series of kicks, dealing damage between targets. You dash between them, and you do 14,000 damage over 3 seconds. But while you're kicking, you're immune to all damage and all effects. You've got like a 3-second damage bubble that absolutely smacks people. That's crazy. And Mistweavers, do beg your pardon, Mistweavers, who are the healers, of course. You get Detonate Chi, which is 1,000 mana, but 100-yard range. That's incredible. It's an instant ability, and it will cause your healing spheres to instantly trigger, all of them, and they will heal the nearest ally within 6 yards. That is pretty darn epic, especially if you need to do some burst healing. Now, next up, we've got Wall of Text, which is Chi Explosion. So I'm going to go through each one for each individual spec, and also you can use this ability with either 1, 2, 3, or 4 Chi active. Now, so Brewmaster Tanky. If you've got 1 Chi, you deal 2,500 nature damage to an enemy. If you have 2 Chi, you also gain the Shuffle ability for 6 seconds. If you have 3 Chi, it also purifies all of your staggered damage as well. And if you have 4 Chi, not 4chan, 4 Chi, the damage also hits all enemies within 8 yards of the target as well. Ouch. Windwalker, 1 Chi, deals 2,508 damage again. 2 Chi, damaged enemies also take an additional 1,500 nature damage over 6 seconds. 3 Chi also generates a charge of Tiger Eye Brew, and 4 Chi, the damage also hits all enemies within 8 yards of the target as well. And then finally we have the Mistweaver, you know, not the Windwalker. Mistweaver, 1 Chi, heals an ally for 2,500 damage, as opposed to damaging them. For health even, not damage. There you go, it's even got that wrong. Heals an ally for 2,500 health. 2 Chi, this healing also heals all allies within 8 yards of the target as well. Nice. 3 Chi also summons 8 healing spheres in an 8-yard radius around the target. Blimey, great for tank healing, I'd imagine. And 4 Chi, healed allies are also healed for an additional 800 over 6 seconds. Remember, the numbers are lower because we've got the item crunch coming into Warlords of Draenor. So if we've got like 500k health at the minute, you're going to have about 35k health when Warlords of Draenor comes out. Massive item squish. Moving on to your third and final ability, this is Serene Mists. Oh. Now, tanks, you get Chi Serenity, which is an instant ability, 1.5 minute cooldown. You enter a state of mental and physical serenity for 10 seconds. And while in this state, all Chi consumptions are instantly refilled. Nice. Windwalker, Chi Serenity again, instant, 1.5 minute. You enter a mental state of physical serenity for 10 seconds. While you're in this state, Chi is also refilled. So tank and DPS, you are identical. But healers, you gain Soothing Tendrils. Passive ability, your Soothing Mist now also chains up to 2 additional allies within 15 yards of the last ally and has a 50% higher chance to generate a Chi 2. So the tank and the DPS, you get your Chi back. The healer, you get additional heals with the chance to gain Chi. Very cool indeed. Next up, we have Paladinos. And your 3 level 100 abilities are going to be the Light Within, Seal of Faith, and Divine Conviction. So let's get on with the Light Within. Look at this wall of text. Okay, it's going to take a while to get through this. Holy, you get Bastions of Light. And this is a passive ability. Beacon of Light can now be placed on up to 2 targets. Wow. Protection. You get Empowered Seals. Again, passive. Your seals also cause your judgment to empower you with an additional beneficial effect. So you could get Judgment of Justice, increases your movement speed by 10% for 20 seconds. You could get Judgment of Insight, heals you for 3% of your maximum health every 2 seconds for 20 seconds. You could get Judgment of Righteousness, increases your attack speed by 10% for 20 seconds. Or Judgment of Truth, which increases your attack power by 10% for 20 seconds. Retis, you also get Empowered Seals as well, which is identical to the one that you had for the tank. So you can gain the Judgment of Justice, Judgment of Insight, Judgment of Righteousness, and Judgment of Truth. Now, it seems that that ability is random, so you don't know which one you're going to proc. So there's a little bit of an RNG element involved in this by the looks of it. But Pallies, let me know what you think of that one. It seems very situational to me. Anywho, next up we have Seal of Faith. This costs 623 mana. It's an instant ability. It fills you with holy light, causing you to gain faith equal to all damage dealt. Faith acts as a spell power towards the next healing spell that you cast. So holy, while Seal of Faith is active, all damage dealt is increased by 30%. Is that meant to be correct? That seems a bit weird. Maybe I thought it should be healing. Never mind. Prot, while Seal of Faith is active, all damage dealt is reduced by 30%. And Reti, while Seal of Faith is active, all damage dealt is reduced by 30% as well. Again, I'm not massively au fait with this one. It seems a little odd to me, but Paladins, I'm sure that you can explain it in a way that even a Burke like me could understand. Now, the third and the final level 100 ability is Divine Conviction. Holy, you gain Saved by the Bell. Saved by the Light, not by the bell. It's a passive ability. When your Beacon of Light target drops below 30% health, you instantly grant the injured target a protective shield, another absorb, that will absorb 30% of their maximum health for 10 seconds. You cannot shield the same person, though, twice within 60 seconds. Prot, you gain Holy Shield, increases your block chance by 10%, and when you block, you deal 2,000 holy damage to your attacker. And Retis, you get Final Verdict, 3 holy power cost. Instant, requires obviously a melee weapon, and empowers your weapon with holy energy and performs a devastating strike. You deal 250% weapon damage as holy, but it replaces Templar's Verdict. Ooh. Okay, so let's move on to Priests. Priests, you get Divine Clarity, you get Power of the Void, and you also get Spiritual Guidance. So first up, Divine Clarity. Discipline, you will get Clarity of Will. It's a 1,000 mana cost, 40 yard range, 2.5 second cast. It shields the target with a protective ward, absorbing 2,500 damage within 30 seconds and replaces your greater heal. Holy, you get Clarity of Purpose, 1,000 mana again, 40 yard radius again, 2.5 second cast again. Heals all allies within 10 yards of the target for 5,000, but it's split in such a way that the more injured targets will actually receive a proportionate amount of the heal that's larger to the people that aren't quite as injured as them. Very interesting indeed. That also replaces the greater heal. And Shadow, you get Clarity of Power, which is a passive ability. Your direct shadow damage spells deal 40% additional damage to targets not affected by your periodic shadow damage spells. Casting Mind Spike will also reduce the cooldown of Mind Blast by a second. Shadowy Recall now also affects your direct shadow damage spells too. Okay, I like some very interesting stuff there. Next, Power of the Void, Discipline. You get Shifting Perspectives, which is a passive again. Your Void Shift spell has no cooldown, but can only be cast on allies with less health than you, and it no longer heals also. Holy, you gain Shifting Perspectives. It's a passive as well. Your Void Shift spell no longer has a cooldown, but can also be cast on allies with less health than you and no longer heals. So it's identical for the two healing classes, whereas Shadow, you get Void Entropy. All Shadow Orbs. This got 40 yard range, 1.5 second cast, consumes up to 3 Shadow Orbs to deal up to 750 shadow damage every 3 seconds for 60 seconds. That is a hell of a dot that you can put on there as a Shadow Priest. So again, 1, 2, 3, but obviously you'd prefer to have 3 orbs if you use that. Now then, the third and the final one is Spiritual Guidance. Discipline, you get Saving Grace. 3,000 mana cost, 40 yard range, instant ability, but it instantly heals a friendly target for 50% of their maximum health. Reduces your healing done, though, by 10% for 10 seconds and stacks up to 10 times. So you can get into a position where you're not healing them. And not healing the rest of the group. Be careful. Holy, Saving Grace, 3,000 mana, instant, 40 yard range, identical to the Discipline version. Shadow, you get Auspicious Spirits. It's a passive ability. Your shadowy apparitions also grant you 1 Shadow Orb when they deal damage. Again, that's a very, very nice ability indeed. So, Discipline and Holy, you've got an awesome heal, but you can seriously cock up the rest of the group if you're not careful. So that's Priest dealt with. Let's move finally off to Rogues. And you get Master the Basics. You get Shadow Reflection. And you also get Death from Above. I do like that name. So first up, Master the Basics. A very small tooltip here, but very interesting indeed. When you critically strike with an auto attack, that's a basic white attack, you gain an additional combo point on your target. So you can now generate combo points through white damage, and that is bonkers. Rogues, would that affect what abilities you therefore choose if you decided to go with Master of the Basics, or would it not? Would it just be a much better way to quickly generate combo points while still having the same abilities that you have now? I'd be intrigued to hear what Rogues have to say about that, because to me, that ability, even though it's like 2 lines long, sounds absolutely bananas. Okay, second up, we have Shadow Reflection. Very nice name, isn't it? This is a 20 yard range. It's got a 2-minute cooldown, and you summon a shadow of yourself on the target that will watch you memorize your ability usage for the next 8 seconds. After this time, it will mimic the memorized abilities on its target over the next 8 seconds. Wow! So if you're just about to go into a massive burst phase as a rogue, and then you click Shadow Reflection, you do your big ass burst with your abilities, that apparition is watching what you're doing, saying, right, he's using that, he's using that, he's using that, he's using that. When you've finished your 8 seconds worth of ponage, you suddenly get your shadowy apparition doing another 8 seconds of additional ponage. That, to me, sounds freaking awesome, and I'd just love to put it on my rogue anyway for shits and giggles. And finally, we have Death from Above. This is a 50 energy cost, a 20-second cooldown, requires one-handed melee weapons. Can you use anything else? No. It's a bit daft that, but never mind. Anyway, Finishing move that consumes combo points on the target to empower your weapon with shadowy energy and perform a devastating 2-part attack. You whirl around, dealing shadow damage. I don't know why I did that. Dealing shadow damage to all enemies within 8 yards. Then leap into the air and slice into your target on the way back down, dealing an additional shadow damage. If you've got 1 combo point, you get 400 area damage, 1000 target damage, 2 points 800 area, 2000 target, 3 points 1200 area, 3000 target, 4 points 1600 area, 4000 target, and finally if you've got 5 combo points, you gain 2000 area damage and 5000 target damage. So you seriously can leap up into the air, boom down. If there's a few mobs around the place, it could splash out some crazy damage. Remember, of course, because the item bloat, these are going to be good damages coming. The item bloat, sorry, the ability squish. You know what I meant. You can really pump out some serious AoE damage with those abilities. So there we go. Monk, Paladin, Priest, and Rogue taken care of. That's 8 of the 11 classes. Tomorrow we will get the remaining 3, which will be Shaman, Warlock, and Warrior. My beloved Warlock, of course, in there, so I may start to waffle a wee bit about the Warlock talents. Do forgive me if I do. But also remember, this is the preliminary abilities which they've got for level 100. It doesn't necessarily mean these are set in stone. They could potentially change at any time whatsoever. So please don't get all panicky in the going, oh, this is overpowered. Oh. Don't do that. Just accept them for what they are at the moment. And I'd love to see comments where you are putting these abilities into certain situations, like saying, right, well, Shadow Apparition would be great if you're doing, Death from Above would be great if you're doing, nobody plays monks so nobody cares. I'm not kidding. Stuff like that. And remember, I can now post in the comments of YouTube as well, and I will respond to you there. But I hope you enjoyed the vid. Please do like, comment and subscribe. Genuinely mean that you like the video, click the thumbs up button. Also, follow me on YouTube, which you should be anyway, duh. Facebook and Twitter, as well as twitch.tv/heel versus babyface for live streaming. And I shall, as ever, be back with some more stuff very soon. So you take care, everybody. Night, night.